It is race day. It is time. Alcohol dragster getting ready to crank up. 8 cars going to battle it out to see which ones are going to be our 4 semifinalists. And coming up first out of the chute, going to be Christine Chambliss rolling in. Her hot rod out of Scott City, Kansas, taking on the invader from Minnesota, Mr. Dean Dubbin. The DMP awnings entry. Dubbin qualifying number 5. Christine qualifying number 4. And for the gang out of Scott City, Kansas, Christine and crew had a thrash last night is on their final qualifying attempt where they laid down a fine 535. They also lost a blower belt that took out an oil line that effectively lubricated the entire back half of the car. Christine, the blown alcohol combination on the right-hand side, signed up, paired up to run Dean Dubbin's machine. Dean's car finally coming to life as the crew down here thrashing a little bit to get the Central McGowan Team DMP blown car come to life. For Dean, a short, sweet burnout. He knows he's behind on time. The object now is to keep the composure, do the burnout, not rush the procedure, but to do it efficiently so as to not to hold up Christine Chambliss on the right-hand side. 8-car field, 6 of our cars injected on nitromethane. 2 of our cars blown on alcohol, and the 2 methyl alcohol burning machines squaring off in the opening round of eliminations. Chambliss, number 4 qualifier, picking her side of the racetrack here on the O'Reilly side. Christine rolling in, Dubbin rolling in. We're ready to go. Christine at the stripe, 551, 262. You can see some smoke coming out of the top of Dean Dubbin's machine. What that was coming from, not quite sure. Send the over-the-wall gang over the wall down there. Let them check it out. Make sure we don't have anything on our racetrack. Dubbin able to get off the line first. Dubbin able to claim the first 60 feet first. But by then, Christine Chambliss' machine beginning to pick up the pace, work towards the other end of the racetrack. Dubbin was ahead to about the 330-foot mark, and then the DMP awnings. Central McGowan car started to haze back just a little bit, going down the racetrack, and Chambliss able to cruise on by with a 551. 262-mile-an-hour lap. So the work all night, paying off for Christine Chambliss and crew. A lot of cleanup, a lot of oil on the chassis and around the engine. Looks like we may have a little bit of cleanup to take care of down there on the aeromotive side of the racetrack now as well. As they get the cleaning equipment headed down, Dubbin's machine may have had a line come loose, spraying a little bit of substance down there on the track from about, just before half track on. So we'll be on hold here for a moment while we do a little cleanup, do a little scrub-a-dub-dub action. Christine Chambliss and crew got the win. Last night's long hours under the lights in the pits, paying off though. first round victory.
For more than 50 years, Wagner's Classic Cars has been a worldwide leader in the collector car industry. Wagner's is best known for their attention to detail and quality craftsmanship, as well as their first-class inventory of investment quality rides. Wagner's has also built some of the coolest cars on the planet, as well as some of the race cars you will see here today. If you're in the market for that car of your dreams, find us on Facebook or visit us today at wagnersclassiccars.com. FTI Performance is the leader in racing transmission and torque converter technology and is proud to sponsor racers in the NHRA this year, posting $172,000 in contingency awards for the 2019 season. Make sure you run FTI Performance products and get paid. Reliability, consistency, and performance is what FTI Performance is all about, with outstanding customer service, including trackside support at select races across the country. See why all the winners choose FTI. Find them on Facebook or visit them online at www.ftiperformance.com.
Get the loudest fireworks for the lowest prices at HoustonCheapFireworks.com. 11 locations fully stocked with the newest, hottest, loudest consumer fireworks by Texas Outlaw, Black Cat, Hogwild, Red Rhino, Brothers, Big, and other major brands. Go to HoustonCheapFireworks.com for the location nearest you or shop the largest selection at our indoor super warehouse on I-10 East in Channelview. HoustonCheapFireworks.com.
Lucas Oil is proud to continue our support of sportsman racers again in 2019 as a major contingency sponsor with NHRA. Lucas Oil awards contingency payments on oil, transmission, and differential gear oils at all NHRA National and Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events. New for 2019, Lucas Oil has expanded its oil contingency program to include not only racing oils, but also select truck and API passenger oils as well. Lucas Oil has made signing up for the program simple. To sign up, visit a Lucas Oil representative at the track and purchase $100 worth of oil, $75 worth of transmission or differential gear oil, or both, per race car. National event winners will receive $300, $100 for a runner-up. Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series winners will receive $100 and $50 for a runner-up. You will be eligible for the contingency program for 1 year from the date of your sign-up. Stop by the Lucas Oil trailer on the Midway at NHRA National events to sign up with Joe or Pam Phillips, or look for the following companies at most of the Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series events. In Divisions 1 and 2, see Jeff Kondratik of JKR Racing Product. In Division 3, sign up with Dwayne LaFleur of Lucas Oil. Division 4, stop by and see Rick or Chase Huffman of Accelerated Graphics. And in Division 7, see Les Figueroa of Fig Speed. Thanks for your support of Lucas Oil, and best of luck this season.
Is your goal an NHRA championship? Then Altronics has what you need. Altronics DataQuest system is the latest in state-of-the-art data recording. The DataQuest full-color touchscreen dash is the only system available that puts your data at the touch of a fingertip. DataQuest's new integrated switch panel allows complete control of all of your car's accessories directly through the touchscreen. And Altronics DataQuest is an NHRA contingency product, which means you get paid to win. With tech support experts available 7 days a week, Altronics is always there when you need them. For products that will get you to that final round, remember Altronics and DataQuest data acquisition systems. Order one now at www.altronicsinc.com. Altronics is always there when you need them.
If you're a new car dealership principal, service manager, or parts manager, turn to the source dealers trust, Service Department Solutions. With over 40 years of industry experience, the SDS team will help you improve your processes and increase your profits. They will work with you to improve sales and service processes, training, and customer retention rates, and help you work with your manufacturer to secure increases in parts and labor reimbursements that you're entitled to. In some cases, hundreds of thousands of dollars left on the table. Service Department Solutions helps dealerships nationwide, and they can help you too. No upfront fees, no hassles, and no risk. Call them today at 412-651-2356 or visit them online at servicedepartmentsolutions.com. Service Department Solutions, the source dealers trust.
Yeah, a little cleanup going on there on the automotive side of the racetrack. And as they do the scrub-a-dub-dub, Dean Dubbin obviously putting a little bit of substance down on the racing surface, but it'll clean up down on the top end. And fortunately, down there on that end, it will take less time to take care of than it will back on this end of the racetrack, as we saw earlier today with the starting line cleanup that we needed to do. Folks, if you live around the Midwest area here, be sure and take advantage of swinging by and talking to Bob McCosh, the dealership down in Columbia, Missouri, and his award-winning team. Bob McCosh, Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, Cadillac, located at number 1 Business Loop 70 down in Columbia. They are a full-service dealership, open 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, with parts, sales, and service. Locally owned and operated, carrying a huge inventory of cars, trucks, SUVs, and medium-duty trucks. So call, click, or stop by and experience great service, second to none. Come and see us or click bobmccosh.com. And remember, Chevrolet makes the car. Bob McCosh makes the difference.
Crew Chief Pro is drag racing's most respected ET prediction and electronic logbook software. Since 1989, Don Higgins and his team have constantly refined Crew Chief Pro software to help racers with these important features: ET predictions, throttle stop predictions, race analysis, weather analysis, and opponent analysis. They integrate with RacePack data acquisition systems, Time Slip Simulator, and 1320 Go software, and with all performance weather stations. In addition, Crew Chief Pro carries the finest racing weather stations on the market today, alerting you via text or pager and delivering you with up-to-the-minute data critical to making the best decisions on the track. NHRA World Champions use Crew Chief Pro software and systems. Why shouldn't you? Find out more today by checking them out online at www.crewchiefpro.com.
see the crew working well down into the shutdown area now as, again, the mist coming off the back of Dean Dummins' machine. Taking a little bit of scrub-a-dub-dub time down there to get cleaned up and taken care of. Should be seeing the tractor with the tires on the back, the scrubber, if you will, to come along here shortly and start putting some rubber down on the racing surface. As soon as we see that going, we all know that we're getting real close to getting back into action. So bear with us. Apologize for the delay, but it is sometimes a part of drag racing. As Dave McClellan used to say, TDR, that's drag racing. So there are days we just rock right along, and there are days we get a little hiccup every once in a while. Today seems to be a day with some hiccups in it, so we'll keep on going. Just got to get a little cleanup going so we can make sure that we have a good, safe, and secure racetrack for not only the rest of our alcohol dragster and funny car field, but the rest of our competitors as well. So give us a little bit of time. We'll get the track brought back, and we will be back into action just as quick as we can. Okay, you can see the crew down track sweeping in a little bit of the grease sweep. Working to continue cleaning up the shutdown area down past the finish line in the automotive lanes. So still working to get things finalized, wrapped up, and taken care of. Again, we apologize. It does happen sometimes, and this happened to be one of those times. So we'll get back into our drag racing. First round of eliminations for alcohol dragsters, followed by alcohol funny car. Our fine line graphics, Madcap Racing. Top dragster, our cop eliminator, and our Circus Motorsports top sportsman cars coming up for their final qualifying effort. Superstock round number 1 still scheduled, as well as round number 1 of Sportsman Motorcycle. Semifinals of our alcohol fields. And the rest of our eliminations. We will work into the evening and under the lights here at Heartland Motorsports Park. Musco lights illuminating the facility. Remember the day the Musco lights were turned, or the night the Musco lights first installed. John Force said it was like driving in daylight traffic down there. Going through the other end of the racetrack. Musco lights certainly do light up the facility, at least the quarter-mile area for all of our drivers to be able to make their way down safely and securely. So, going into the evening hours, obviously a situation we can handle and contend with here at Heartland. A little cleanup here. Slows down the pace of the program just a skosh. And our next pair sits and waits patiently for their shot at the racetrack. A couple of second-generation drivers going to be coming at us in our next pair, but more about that as we get ready to roll with them here in just a little bit. If you're like me and keeping an eye on the equipment down at the other end of the racetrack, there are fewer pieces. They are getting to be smaller pieces. The crew's basically got everything staged in progression of how they're going to use it. So, see one piece rolling off the top end. Looks like a little final addressing of issues down there to be taken care of by the tire dragger, or the asphalt Zamboni as we call it. And the track spray are already set up and staged and ready to go. So we're getting closer to getting back on track. Continuing on with round number 1. Alcohol dragster and alcohol funny car. It looks like we're getting awfully close to getting back to on-track action. See almost all of the equipment off track. Got our final inspection of the quarter mile. Looks like everything's pretty much getting ready to be put back in place. A little fresh water in the water box. And seeing as how we put fresh water in the water box just before we do the fire up for the cars so they can do their burnout, I would say we are pretty much locked, step, and ready to go. Tip of the cap to everybody here this weekend. Our Heartland Motorsports Park crew, the NHRA crew, Bobby Meyer down there, our official starter. Jason Waste helping out. Safety crew of Jake Troutman, Dusty Sprague, Jamie Lowry. Sarah Nolan up here in the tower, and of course the DD here in Division 5, Rob Park. Travis doing his job as well. And the water going down in the water box. Little cars being pulled up. Going to be pretty much ready to go again. Aaron Cooper coming up. Rachel Meyer going to be alongside the Pro Data. Entry over on the left-hand side out of the Gary Cooper race stable. Aaron getting his license just this week, or completing, I should say, the licensing laps just this week as he does his burnout there on the left-hand side. Miss Rachel, your number 2 qualifier at a 5:33 for Knott's Pretzels. Menards and NGK over here on the O'Reilly side of the racetrack. Injected nitro cars. Interesting that they like to have the fuel at a certain temperature. They leave the pit area with the wrap on the nose of the car to keep the cool in the fuel. When you get into an extended cleanup like we had there with Dean Dubbin, keep an eye on that fuel temperature. And if necessary, make some last-minute adjustments to compensate for a little bit warmer fuel. Aaron Cooper on the left out of the number 7 qualifying spot, 5:73. Like we said, Rachel number 2 with a 5:33. Rachel already picking up a win this year on the Lucas Oil circuit. Rachel going rounds up at Joliet this year, the Mellow Yellow event. See who's going to the semi. Little wisp of smoke off of Aaron Cooper's machine, 5:42, 256 miles an hour. Rachel eases on down the boulevard and into the next round of eliminations. 5:42.0 at 256 miles an hour. We are dealing with air that is not quite as conducive to performance as it was yesterday. The corrected altitude a little bit higher, the temperature a little bit warmer. Randy Meyer goes from one daughter, Rachel, who just goes 5:42 into the semifinals, to second daughter, Megan. See what she can do is she will line up alongside Terry Schmidt's machine. Schmidt out of the number 8 qualifying position, to take on the number 1 qualifier. And again, waiting to make sure everybody is clean, safe, and secure and off the top end of the racetrack before the call goes out to fire the next pair. Looks like we've got one car held up right down there just before the turnout. Get a little assist out there to get the top end clear. Get a little fresh water down in the water box. The injected nitro machines for Terry Schmidt and Megan Meyer. Get ready to come to life. Aaron Cooper's car wisping the tires there at the half-track mark. 785 at 112. And it becomes then a awfully long racetrack to get down to the other end. So the ag quad has to come out, give them a little assist, a little push. Terry Schmidt's machine lit. The cackle of nitromethane. Megan Meyer's car coming to life. Light them up on alcohol. Let them build a little heat in the cylinder. Switch him over to the nitro. Terry Schmidt doing his short, sweet burnout. Megan at the wheel, the NGK. Ruthenium, Dots Pretzels, Menard's machine. Meyer Trucking entry over here on the right-hand side. Randy Meyer, of course, with numerous drivers this year. Camry Caruso getting her first win in a Randy Meyer machine. Did that back in Norwalk. Sackman at the wheel of the machine up in Joliet, picking up a second win in a row at the Lucas Oil race and Route 66 Raceway. Julie Natas, winner on the national event and divisional trail this year, driving a Randy Meyer car. Couple of cars, couple of daughters, and several drivers that rent the car for the weekend from time to time. Gives them a lot of tuning data. See what Megan can do against Terry Schmidt. Number 1, right side. Number 8, left. All out on Megan's machine from about half track on. 547. 263 miles an hour. You can see some raw fuel pumping out of it. Terry Schmidt goes through 716. 183 miles an hour down to the other end of the racetrack. So Megan advances. And her 547 at 263, even with a cylinder out, will give her lane choice over Christine Chambliss, who ran that 551 in her opening round race against Dean Dubbin. So it'll be Megan and Christine. Rachel taking on the winner of our next pair. Robin Samsel getting ready to take on Jared Dreher. There's a couple of cars coming over from the North Central Division. Going to see which one of them gets to take on Miss Meyer in the semifinals. Jared Dreher over the left-hand side. Robin Samsel here on the O'Reilly side of the racetrack. Get ready to fire the next pair. Robin Samsel, who closed out the 2018 campaign with a couple of final round appearances. Went to the finals in Bowling Green, Kentucky, late last season. Came up just a little bit short in that final round. Went to the finals in St. Louis, where Robin was able to get around Dean Dubbin's car and pick up the Wally. The closing event for the North Central Division 2018 competition. Jared Dreher went rounds last year. Just could not find that combination. Really hammer home the division championship, or the regional championship, I should say. They finished number 2. Let me tell you, Randy, Jared, and the rest of the gang, certainly capable of stepping up at any point in time. They have had a very consistent race car through qualifying, but it's been in the 540 range. Samsel's been in the 530s. .564, 252 for Jared. They had a good run going to about the half-track mark. Then the car started to slow a little bit. 543 Samsel, 262 miles an hour. And that 543 at 262 is going to be just short of Rachel's 542. So the 542 by Rachel, she will pick her side of the racetrack as they come to the line in about an hour and a half or so for the semifinals. In alcohol dragster, Samsel second off the line. Dreher had the better light, pretty much dead even to the 60-foot mark. By about the half-track mark, Samsel beginning to gain momentum, 221 miles an hour. And Kipton led all the way for 1,320 feet to get the win down there on the O'Reilly side. Top dragster, we need you lanes, please. Our Fine Line and Madcap top dragster contestants need you to the lanes. Final qualifying. Top dragster to the lanes, please. Let's set the field and get ready for your dance. Shane Westerfield comes in out of the number 1 qualifying spot. Interesting that the dragsters with lane choice picked the O'Reilly side. Funny cars with lane choice. Shane Westerfield, Chris Houle, our first 2 pair I can see, both picking the Aeromotive side of the racetrack. Shane driving for Rick Jackson now. Jackson with a pretty good history here at Heartland Motorsports Park. The old Napa car now with Carrillo rods on the side. And Shane Westerfield in the cockpit. Number 2 in the world last year. Bringing on Scott McVeigh here on the right. The RPM's up. And Scott McVeigh going to motor through for a 581, 252 mile-an-hour win. Shane Westerfield off the line first. First to 60 feet, the car by about the 330 mark, beginning to have some issues. By the half-track mark was in coast mode. Westerfield out of the number one spot, cruises and coasts to a 984, 86 mile-an-hour lap. So Scott McVeigh from the number 8 qualifying position, the runner out of Ile-des-Chênes, Manitoba, Canada, into the semifinals with that 581 run. 252 miles an hour to get him there, and that, as they say in drag racing parlance, is an upset. Number 8 qualifier taking out number 1, Shane Westerfield, in the opening round of eliminations. Shane's machine needing a little assist down at the other end of the racetrack. Clear the top end. You can see the quad coming out. Going to give him a little push. Also going to check the track. Down track, make sure everything clean and green. Cannot tell you what happened to Shane Westerfield's ride. Rick Jackson into cruise, certainly not expecting that to happen for their number 1 qualifying effort. They've been pretty much locked into the 550s with a 557 and a 554. But that's why we run them down the racetrack. And that's why you bring them to the line, ready to run the best race you could possibly do. And if the other car stutters, stumbles, falls, makes a boo-boo, you can be there to get the win. And for our Manitoba-based team and our Monte Carlo, Scott McVeigh and crew moving on to the Final Four. Scott McVeigh leading our alcohol funny cars off with a upset of the number 1 qualifier. Here comes your number 2 qualifier, Chris Houle, the C-Tech Manufacturing Chevrolet Camaro, and he too, with lane choice, chooses the aeromotive side of the racetrack. Billington, Mr. Mark Billington out of Texas, former Division II champ, the Mustang-bodied entry. Brad Anderson combination. Mark missed out on the opening session of qualifying. Was able to get one good lap down the racetrack, that a 576. Chris Houle had a 560 to open things up. Came back, fell off a little bit with a 711 run. And finalized qualifying last night, the C-Tech Manufacturing Hot Rod, the number 2 qualifying effort of a 557. Houle on the left-hand side. Seeing the number 1 qualifier go out in the opening round. Good to see what he can do. Chris, who has a pretty good track record here at Heartland himself, looking to get around Billington. Billington, like Scott McVeigh, bring it to the line, do the best you can, see what happens. Chris Houle right down Broadway, 563, 260 miles an hour. Mark Billington off the line, the car jumping up onto tires. Mark cranking the steering wheel left, cranking the steering wheel right, trying to get it reined in. He'll coast across down at the other end with a 1597 run. So Chris Houle out of the number 2 spot advances to the Final Four, 563 on a 260 mile an hour pace. Do have a schedule change announcement to let you know about. Super Gas Super Gas, you are done for the evening. Super Gas, you are done for the evening. You guys could put them away, sit back, relax, pop the top, fire up the Barbie, whatever the case might be. Super Stock, your first round of eliminations, has been moved to later on in the evening after round one of Top Dragster and after round number one of Top Sportsman. Speaking of Top Dragster, we need you to the lanes, please. Super Stock, you have been moved to later on in the evening. The time slot originally scheduled for Super Gas, now designated for Super Stock. Super Gas, you have been designated to run tomorrow. Round number one. Kirk Williams scheduled to take on Kyle Smith. Kyle, a second-generation racer, not able to answer the bell as they broke ahead. Stan Smith, despite offers from numerous of teams for parts, said, nope, we don't have it. We're not going to race it. So they unfortunately had to load up and head for home. Kirk Williams, out of the number 3 qualifying spot, does what he has to do by NHRA rules and regulations, fires the car, stages it under its own power, accepts the green light, and the independently funded team out of Glenwood, Iowa. Always a threat to walk away with the Wally at the end of the day. We'll come back in the next round of eliminations to run your number 2 qualifier, Chris Houle. So it'll be Houle and Williams on a pairing that we have seen numerous times before. Houle, of course, having lane choice, with Williams simply accepting the Christmas tree to move on to the semifinals. And that will set up Scott McVeigh to run either Brian Brown or Steve Burke. A couple of runners out of Texas. Burke, your number 9 qualifier, getting in to replace Bill Bernard's machine. Bernard's car out of Colorado, we understand, blackened the crank. And that effectively took them out of race mode. They will head back to Denver and get everything ready for their next event. Burke doing his burnout. Got 1 lap down the racetrack. That was a 594. Had problems on their first hit. Car didn't get to make the run. Came up, finally got it down last night, 594, 253 miles an hour. So effectively, Steve Burke, his crew out of Corpus Christi, flying by the seat of their pants, if you will. They've got data, they've got information. Without the tuned-up runs that the other teams have had, puts them a little bit behind the 8 ball. But like I said earlier, you bring the best you can to the lanes for eliminations. Just like Scott McVeigh, if the other team has a problem, stutters or stumbles, you can advance. Brian Brown, pretty solid runs, 587, 577, 569. Brown out of Gainesville, Texas, the Empire Artworks machine. Getting ready to load it up. And there you have it, boys and girls. Steve Burke brought it to the line, loaded it up, said, let's go after him. And Brian Brown had problems. 823 at 114 miles an hour, 603 by Burke. And it'll be Steve Burke out of the number 9 qualifying position, getting in as an alternate, going to the semifinals to take on Scott McVeigh. So it'll be McVeigh and Burke, Hool, and Williams in the semifinals. And I got to tell you, for Brian Brown and the Empire Ironworks team, wasn't what they were expecting at all after that car has been locked solidly in the 5-second zone all weekend long to come up and run an 8:23. But, again, TDR, that's drag racing. So Burke and McVeigh, Hool and Williams, top dragster, are Fine Line Graphics, Madcap Engines. Top dragster should be in the lanes. And again, Super Gas, you are done for the evening. Super Gas, you guys can kick back, relax, pop the top on a Barley Pop, fire up the Barbie. And what's the old put a shrimp on the Barbie, right? Put a shrimp on the Barbie. Brings to mind those pictures I saw on the internet of somebody with a Barbie doll and shrimp laying all over. But anyway, never mind.
I don't even want to.
Don't even want to go there.
Don't even want to picture that.
I understand. I didn't want to see it either, but unfortunately, it's been burned into my memory banks. So our semifinals are set. Alcohol Dragster and Alcohol Funny Car. Top Dragster getting ready to come up for their final qualifying effort. Behind them will be Comp Eliminator, followed by our Circus Motorsports Top Sportsman field. Round number 1 is Sportsman Motorcycle, and we'll dive right back into Top Alcohol Dragster and Top Alcohol Funny Car semifinals. Top Dragster and Top Sportsman come back for round number 1 after that. Super Stock round number 1 scheduled to follow. And then our finals of Top Alcohol Dragster and Top Alcohol Funny Car to round out the evening. Top Dragster getting ready to roll in. And as they get ready to go for round number 1, Warren Evans, the master behind the keyboard. DragRacer.tv going to tell you all about that final qualifying effort for our 6-second, 200-mile-an-hour shooters.
All right, Bob, thank you very much. Bob's been talking for 8 days straight. Need to give his voice just a little bit of rest to get to the final rounds tomorrow, so happy to jump in here and help out a little bit. This Top Dragster final qualifying coming up right now. 1 session in the books already. Session number 2 coming up to set our field. Right now, a couple of top dragsters looking for improvement. Both of them capable of doing it. 2 blower cars pulling up right now. Keith Neiman and Bradley Green. That'll be your first pair. They currently sit number 23 and number 28 on the qualifying sheet. Both cars capable of doing a little bit better than that. Quick is important. Consistency just as important. So let's take a look at what they're going to do here and see how they all fall out on the ladder as we set our field for round number 1. And round number 1 still on the schedule for tonight. We need Comp Eliminator. Comp Eliminator to the lanes, please, for your second and final qualifying session. Comp Eliminator, we need you to the lanes for your second and final qualifying session. Keith Neiman left side. The Flying Monkey Racing Dragster. The birthday boy. Happy birthday, Keith. We're not going to sing. Green looking to improve on a 645. Not going to do it. 647 at 212. 2 ticks slower there. Same with Bradley Green. He had a 655 earlier today, 657 this time around. Both of them slow down by 0.02 of a second. So no change in the scoring there for the two of them. Our the wall gang saw something out there, jumping out to grab it. And as soon as they're back in their safe position, we'll bring our next pair forward. Bill Swan and Donna Patterson. Donna in the water box right now. Naturally aspirated machine over here on the right-hand side in the O'Reilly lane. APD Power behind Donna there. Donna out of Loretta West, Manitoba, Canada. Bill Swan, Carrollton, Texas. Beyond Reason Dragster, supercharged machine left side. For the top 10 runner in Division 4 last year. So, haven't been outside for a while. Not sure how the conditions have changed since earlier today, but I would think it's a little cooler and there should be some improvement out there. Is it warmer out there? Well, then I stand corrected. We may or may not see any improvement. This pair may tell us something about it. First pair did not improve. They were 200ths slower. Bill Swan pulls up left side. The Texan. Patterson, the Canadian. Swan earlier today, 6:28 on the sheet. Planted him at the number 14 spot. Donna, number 24 with that 6:47. Again, 6:10 is as low as you can go. Red lights don't matter here in qualifying. Swan out the back door to a 6:28.4. Very consistent. Bracket-like consistency. 6:28.4, 6:28. Donna does pick up a couple. Donna goes 6:45 at 2:15. Donna remains in the 24th position. John Bradford coming up now. Bradford left side from Tucson, Arizona. Heard of that Button Transportation team. Borst Automotive, left side. Laid down a 6:11.5 earlier. A little bit of a window to do a little better. Again, 6:10.0 is as quick as you can go. Ronald Scott alongside from Watauga, Texas. The Pro Charge machine lines up right side of the track. Out the back door, 6:12 for John Bradford. No improvement there. Ronald Scott does pick up 2, 6:47 at 2:10. Victoria Johnson. Robbie Gear coming up now. Victoria left side. Arvada, Colorado. Has picked up the Big Wally at the Mile High Nationals a couple of years ago. Robbie Gear alongside. Greenwood, Missouri, the home. For backlotcars.com. Victoria's best run earlier today, a 6:73. Robbie Gear, a 7:57. Both of them on the bottom half of the sheet right now. Both of them looking to improve. Top Sportsman, we need you to the lanes, please. Comp, you should be there. If you're not, you need to head that way. We also need Top Sportsman, the Madcap Engines Top Sportsman. Circus Motorsports, I apologize, Craig. Circus Motorsports. Top Sportsman to the lanes. Victoria on a good-looking pass, 673.4 at 197. Again, consistency the key. Back-to-back 673s. Robbie Gear drops off a tick, 758 at 174. No improvement for either driver. But conditions appear to be consistent. between the two sessions. Matthew Kreft, Aaron Stanfield coming up now. Kreft, 632 the number. Kreft sits number 16 coming into this qualifying session. Aaron Stanfield is 684. Stanfield setting the bottle pressure there for his bottle fed machine. Stanfield power. Greg alongside the car, keenly observing everything going on for his son. Matthew Kreft alongside, spinning the supercharger there on his big block Chevy powered dragster. I would expect one or both to make a move. I'd say so. Stanfield jumps way up, goes to the top half. 6:17.7 at 2:20 for Aaron Stanfield. Big improvement there. Matthew Kreft slows by 1, 6:33 at 2:19. Stanfield will jump up from that 33 position all the way up to number 6. So that was the number they were looking for earlier today. They get it now. Mark Moore comes up now alongside John Harry Bond. Comp Eliminator and Top Sportsman, we need you to the lanes, please. Comp Eliminator and Top Sportsman, we need you now to the lanes. Moore left side, Hutchison, Kansas. Big block Chevy power. Naturally aspirated machine. John Harry Bond for Metal Transportation. Bond too quick earlier today. 6:11, that's a good number. 2:26. He moves off the bottom of the machine. Was number 43. Now John Harry Bond all the way up to the number 3 slot. Jason Medlin, Les Weiss getting their turns now. Medlin left side. Feist right side. Medlin doesn't look like any power adders over there, just carbureted power on top. Les Weiss, the Pro Charge machine. Feist at the big end, 6:36. He's better by 4. Jason Medlin, 7:02. He's better by 2. So improvement runs there for both of them. Cole Weaver, Lubbock, Texas, backs up from the burnout right now. Left side of the track. Another naturally aspirated ride alongside the Pro Charge machine of Al Peevler. Peevler out of Olney, Illinois, spinning the Pro Charger, centrifugally driven supercharged operation. Cole Weaver from Lubbock, Texas. Peevler, the Illinoisan. Peevler picked up a 6:22 time ticket earlier today. Cole Weaver, 7:02. See if Weaver gets in the 6 second zone. Nope, he's 7:05. Peevler is better by 4 as they go 6:18 at 2:23. And he is 4 ticks better than he was earlier. Cole Weaver, 7:05, no improvement there in the left lane. Al Peevler, now number 9. The Peevler father and son team. Dad went down first. Now it's Blake right behind. That's the son from Olney, Illinois. American chassis, Pro Charge, big block Chevy. Lines up next to Brad Basgall. Basgel spinning the supercharger there on top of that big block out of Hayes, Kansas. Basgel 644 earlier today. Peevler 628. Those are the numbers they're trying to do. Basgel good on the tree, 003 up front. 640 by 4. For Blake Peevler, consistency is what he's shooting for. Back-to-back 628s at 217 for Blake Peevler. Peevler will not move. Brad Basgel will go from number 24 to 22. He moves 2 spots. He's in the top half now. Randy Dahlberg, Hudson, Colorado. Jerry Gibbons, Choctaw, Oklahoma. That's your next pair. Dahlberg, carbureted setup there on the left. Githens, supercharged setup on the right for the Githens and Reed Racing entry out of Oklahoma. Both up a little bit better. Dahlberg improves by 4, 674 at 199. Jerry Githens, 629 at 216. That's better by 3 on his earlier 632 run. Coming up next, it's Rusty Baxter and Afton Swanson. Joe and Afton's dragster out of Denver, Iowa, for Arnold Motor Supply. It was the Hemi Hunter for years, and now the Arnold Motor Supply Special. Spitzer car, right side. Baxter. Afton a little bit tardy at the starting line, doesn't matter. She picks up a number, 619 at 223. That's one better than yesterday. Rusty Baxter solidifies his number 1 qualifying position. He was 6'11", sitting number 1. Goes 6'10" with a 1. Virtually no window left for anybody else. 6'10" with a 1. 1 thou from the perfect run on the index. He will remain number 1. Jim Thorpe comes up now. Thorpe from Mertzon, Texas. Thorpe's Pro Charge machine. Very spectacular, colorful ride over there left side. John Biaggi trying to rebound from his runner-up finish last night. 1/10,000th of a second for picking up the Wally last night on the wrong side of it. Biaggi, Mama D out there behind the car. And yes, that's right, trying to recoup from that 12:38 from earlier today. 18:43 from earlier today. No good. Still wasn't on the bottom of the sheet. That's a whole lot better looking run there for Johnny B. 623 at 215. Big time improvement there for Johnny. Jim Thorpe, 618 at 222. So Biaggi from the bottom goes up to the number 14 slot. J.R. Baxter and Wynette Hudgens coming up. Baxter out of Waxahachie, Texas. Wynette Hudgens from Clyde, Texas. Pro Chargers left and right. Wynette carrying the banner for the Scoggin Race Shop. See Robert alongside. Last second instruction to his driver. Wynette number 5 right now with a 614, looking to improve. Baxter number 6 with a 617. also looking to improve. Comp Eliminator. You should both be in lanes. Comp and Top Sportsman, you should both be in lanes. So Baxter does improve by 6 numbers, 6:11 and 2:33. That's a jump for him. Winnett, 6:14.8, pairs up with her earlier 6:14.6. So Baxter was number 6. Now number 4 moves around Winnett. Winnett, number 6 right now on the sheet. David Harrington, your winner last night out of DeSoto, Kansas. They lived it up a little bit last night after their win. The nitrous machine over there left side for Aeromotive Fuel Systems. Wayne Johnson alongside from Crest, Texas. Another Scoggin Dickey power plant behind the driver there. Pro-charged power. Johnson goes perfect on the tree. 6:41 at the finish line. That's better by 1. Harrington makes a jump by about 1/10.5 as he goes from a 7:06 all the way up to a 6:88 at 195. Harrington was number 39. And Harrington now moves up a couple of spots to number 36. Jim Prevost, the Mundelein, Illinois carpenter, the contractor. Kelly and Matt there alongside the car. Kelly behind, Matt giving Dad the signal to pull forward. Prescott Dean alongside. Prevost, 6:42, his earlier qualifying effort. Prescott Dean, a 6:76. Both looking to do better. .639, Jim Prevost, that's better by 3. Prescott Dean improves by 1, 675 at 2:01. So Prevost was number 25. And is now number 23. A little bit of movement there. Prescott Dean sits number 35 after that effort. J.R. Loebner, J.B. Straswig, J.R. and J.B. Loebner left side, J.B. right. Loebner bottle fed, J.B. bottle fed. Both of them setting the bottle pressure there. A little purge of the nitrous oxide, get everything ready to go. Straswig had a few little difficulties this weekend. Like he's got it sorted out. Fire distributed. He'll hustle down the right side. The Evansville, Indiana runner. 6:18. That's better. 6:18 and 2:13 for JB. That's better by 3. Loebner falls off 1. 7:08 at 187 will stand on his earlier 7:07. JB was number 13. Moves up to number 11, going around Alan Swanson on the sheet. Comp Eliminator, Top Sportsman, you should be in the lanes. Here's Danny Nelson. The Vortec high gear only combination for the chassis builder out of Batesville, Arkansas. Lloyd McClure alongside. The nitrous assisted dragster over there, Taliaferro built machine out of Ottawa, Kansas. Danny number 15 right now with a 626. It's a 16 runner. 653 earlier today for McClure. Leaves him number 30. Sportsman Motorcycles to the lanes, please. Sportsman Motorcycles to the lanes. You're only going to get one at the top end. Danny Nelson runs it out to a 6:17. He improves by almost a tenth of a second. Lloyd moving down the lane here on the right side, not the number he was looking for. 1983 at 79. Danny Nelson was number 15. Now number 8. Jennifer White pulls up now, the white noise dragster. Left side of the track out of Conroe, Texas. Nickens Brothers Power. Twin nitrous bottles behind the engine there. Jeff will get them cranked up here, and you'll watch the purge of that. It's different than anybody else. They have a pressure balancing system where you'll see the pressure will start. It'll even itself out, and it'll go from a steady stream to a pulse. Right there, you saw it change. John Loebner alongside. Single bottle there. Feeding that nitrous into that big old power plant. Loebner trying to do better than a 668. Jennifer trying to do better than a 617. Jennifer and Jeff have been fighting some challenges there with that dragster. When they get it sorted, close to or number 1 qualifier. 614 at 221. That's better. 669 at 202 for Loebner. That's not better. Jennifer White was number 9. Now, number 7. Sportsman Motorcycles, to the lanes, please. Sportsman Motorcycles, to the lanes. Tony Galbraith, a.k.a. Troy Galbraith, comp eliminator runner. Top 10 runner in the world last year in comp eliminator. 3-time defending Division III competition eliminator champion. Working on a new combination. Making some pulls out here in top dragster. Get some seat time, see how it's going to go. Works out for him. Wally Stelmack alongside the Canadian with his Champion Ironworks supercharged Brad Anderson hot rod. Stelmack, 652. He's number 29. Galbraith on the bottom half of the sheet, 740, puts him number 41. Galbraith turns it red, doesn't matter. 703 at 163. By 4/10 of a second, that's better than what he did earlier. Wally Stelmack, 655, no improvement there. He'll stay where he's at. Tony Galbraith should move up from number 41. We'll find him here. He improved by 4/10 of a second, and he moved 1 spot. I don't know if that's good news or bad news. I think ultimately it's good news because they've been looking for some performance out of that car. Every little bit helps. Jeff Coron, Jeff Strickland coming up now. Coron out of Hayes, Kansas. The dynamic graphics car. He's spinning a supercharger. Strick over here right side for Sticker Punk and SignPunk.com. Champion here in the top dragster category. 634. He's better by 5 numbers right there. 634 at 213 for Strick. He's better. Coron stays exactly where he was. 627 both times down the track. Strick was number 22. And he moves up a spot to number 21. Final car in the category coming up right now. If I could quit pushing buttons on the screen, I could tell you who it is. It's Bob Henry from Owasso, Oklahoma for Airgas and Mickey Thompson Tires. Pro Charged Machine. Final qualifying attempt here in the category. Henry, currently number 14 on the sheet with a 620, looking for some improvement here. at 6:13. That is better. Henry moves to the number 6 slot. So here is your qualifying order as we go into eliminations. Your number 1 qualifier, 6'10" with a 1. 1 thou from as quick as you can go. Rusty Baxter, Bob Buck, number 2. Then it's John Harry Bond, J.R. Baxter, number 4. John Bradford, Bob Henry, Lynette Hudgens, and Jennifer White round out the top 8. Then it's Aaron Stanfield, Danny Nelson, Jim Thorpe, Al Peebler, J.B. Straswig, Afton Swanson, John Biaggi, and Jeff Coron. Lots of shuffling there as we set our field for round number 1 coming up later on tonight. In the meantime, backing up from their burnouts right now, your first pair in the final qualifying session for Competition Eliminator. And Bob Unkerfer back to tell you what's going on.
Yeah, we'll work our way through with Dwayne and Doug leading things off. Sitting there, check it out. The corrected altitude, we have dropped over 350 feet in the last 20 minutes. So as the sun sets over there in the west, the air conditions just get a little bit better, and the track obviously going to be getting better as we continue to tighten up the racetrack as it cools down. Dwayne C. Alter out of Gardner, Kansas, coming at you with a 7:43 opening lap. Doug Ingles with a 7:34, but I expect this session pretty much shuffle the field from top to bottom. He was able to step up. Doug Ingles, little 6-cylinder dragster, I know can certainly do it. He goes 7:31. There's 0.03 of a second. 7:49 by Dwayne Robeson. Robeson backs up a little bit. Doug Ingles goes from number 4 to number 2. Pretty much as expected. Shuffling now underway. Set our field of cop eliminator machines. John Maritek and Sean Vincent going to do battle now. Maritek out of the number 3 spot. Was number 2 just a moment ago. 57 under the index, the A Nostalgia Dragster. We need our Sportsman motorcycles to the lanes, please. Sportsman motorcycle. Needs you to the lanes, please, for round number 1. Sportsman motorcycle. Your call to the lanes, please, round number 1. And again, Super Gas. You are done for the evening. Super Stock. You will follow the first round of Top Sportsman, which will come after the semifinals of the Alcohol Funny Car Dragster category. Sean Vincent, over on the right-hand side. C-Truck. 268 cubic inch combination underneath the hood for the Omaha based father son team. Sean marched his way through the field at Joliet a couple of weeks ago. Maritek 694, 189, no help, 859. Sean Vincent does improve, but by a scant 0.02 of a second. So Sean will stay at 38 under the index. Should keep him in the number 10 spot. Maritek with that 694, falling off 300. Will remain number 3. Michael Compton still getting used to his new car. The Neosho, Missouri-based CPA D Supermod automatic entry. Number 13. I got a feeling this may be the run where Michael Compton starts to make a little bit of a move. Matt Harris, E. Alter, W&H Manufacturing entry over the right-hand side. It is a proven race car over there on the left-hand side. He bought from the Mosier Engineering team out of Louisiana. Matt Harris, Dad Bill, W&H Manufacturing, Chevy Cobalt-bodied machine there on the right-hand side. Your number 6 qualifier. Compton picks up a couple of 865 at 161, 774. Matt Harris picks up a couple of 100. Matt moves from number 6 to number 5. Michael Compton now 32 under. Since number 13 in our program. Christine Harris will be the wild card in this pair. Christine had problems in the one and only earlier round of qualifying. She sits way down at the bottom of the field. Number 15 out of the field of cars that we had take to the track earlier today. This is a car who should normally be middle to a top half qualifier. So after getting the car back to the pits and being able to diagnose what went wrong in that opening round, hopefully they're able to lay down a pretty good run here for Christine. Terry Teasel out of Lawrence, down there in the home of the Jayhawks. The iCar executive, Pontiac GXP there in the left light. Again, the red lights mean nothing. 310 cubic inch combination for Teasel. He motors through 834. That's a big step. 871 by Christine. Christine goes from number 15 all the way to number 1. Told you it's a top half qualifying car, and that's exactly what she did. That'll completely shuffle the pairings around. Diesel's 834 puts him in the middle of the pack now, the number 8 qualifying position. 51 under the index, his best run of the weekend to put him mid-pack in this field. Jim Greenex, D-Altern Automatic. TheRaceCabinet.com, boss man out of Schofield, Wisconsin. Beautiful Chevrolet Camaro over here on the right-hand side. He sits number 7. Brad Masgel up in his dragster there on the left, the C Econo machine. Sits number 12. Bradley's earlier run, a 754. Greenheck's earlier run, a 757. But because of the disparity in the cars, the D-Altern Automatic and the C Econo dragster, those qualifying numbers, or those earlier runs, I should say, have them separated by 5 qualifying spots. For the boss man and the reigning Division 5 Cup runner, Greenheck. They're on the right-hand side, so we can step up the pace. The 757 earlier lap. Goes 769, no help there. 753. Masgel improves, but by only 3 thousandths of a second. So Steve will stay number 12. Jim stays number 7, and I do believe I heard somebody step off the throttle down there at the other end of the racetrack. They were gathering information, getting ready for round number 1. We'll see the cop cars come back tomorrow for their first round of elimination. Masgel's 12, Greenex number 7. Chad Vogus was number 1. He is now number 2. Brad Plord was number 3 when we started this session. He's been bumped back to number 5, and last night's champ, the double-A altered Lone Brad Anderson combination, running on alcohol over there on the left-hand side. Would not surprise me to see them make a run for the number 1 spot. Of course, it also wouldn't surprise me to see Chad Vogus and the little 4-cylinder Neal and Parks chassis, 32 Bantam, make a run for the number 1 spot. For Chad Vogus, he needs to pick up 7 thousandths of a second. For Brad Plord, he needs to pick up, be able to run down in the 643 range. See what they do. Well, that'll do it. 641, 209 miles an hour by Brad, 757 by Chad. Chad sits number 3 now at 60 with an 8. Moves to within a thou of Christine Harris. Brad Plord goes to the number 1 spot, going 62 under the index. And he'll take the number 1 spot for the second race in a row. The interesting thing that we have seen this weekend, or at least for race number 2, is last night's winner, Frank Aragona. not make a qualifying lap. At least not yet. And I do believe we're down to our final car. So after talking to Frank last night in the winner's circle, I said, are you sticking around for race number 2? And he said, oh, yeah. Something has obviously come up and changed their mind. We'll have to find out what it is. We'll let you know if we can. Will Hatchers, Fry Eye and Associates. Right now, 80 dragster automatic. Will looking to put her down in the 660 range. Goes 698, shutting it off at 157 miles an hour. Whatever was troubling and plaguing the A dragster automatic out of Satana, Kansas. They're beginning to turn the corner with it, and that may be the car to keep an eye on in eliminations. Brad Plord sitting number 1, Christine Harris number 2, Chad Vogus number 3, Doug Ingles number 4. We're not done shuffling the field around just yet because here comes Todd Patterson in his B-altered automatic. If you're a casual observer and saying, why are they running singles now on the right-hand side? Comp eliminator cars are assigned their run order. One run left lane, one run right lane. If we run out of cars for the left and got a car or 2 for the right, we end up running some singles. Patterson and the Patterson Racing, Augusta, Kansas-based team, celebrating 40 years of building performance here in the Sunflower State. Brand new 23 T Roadster for Patterson, small block Chevrolet. One of the new LS power plant combinations that they're playing with for the Factory Showdown Wars. One of the new combinations like you will find under Don O'Neill's machine, getting ready to come up in Top Sportsman. Todd right now sitting number 9. Cranked off a 715 earlier. Get a brand new car. Has made very few runs down the racetrack. Patterson, long-time comp eliminator, stock eliminator, super stock campaigner. Playing with the new hot rod. Let's see what it can do. $712 at 185 miles an hour for Todd. They will stay number 9 at 49 under the index. So we end up with Brad Plord 1, Christine 2, Chad Vogus number 3, Doug Ingles 4, John Maritek number 5, Matt Harris 6, Jim Greeneck number 7. Terry Teasel rounds out the quick 8. Then it's Todd Patterson, Dwayne Robeson, Sean Vincent, Steve Baskel, Bill Hatcher, Mike Compton, and Tony Pontillo as we get ready to roll with our Top Sportsman field. Sportsman Motorcycle needs you to the lanes, please. Sportsman Motorcycle to the lanes. Top Sportsman getting ready to roll in for their final qualifying effort. As they roll in, we'll check the top end of the racetrack. Looks like we may be on hold for just a moment. Get Mr. Patterson's machine off the top end. Top Sportsman coming up for their final qualifier. And Will Thorpe's going to set in, take us through our final qualifier for our Top Sportsman field.
Well, I've got to say, first time here at Heartland Park, I'm liking it. When I have another free weekend, which will be like 2020 or something like that, I'll find my way back out here. But Top Sportsman getting ready to take the track, as I mentioned, clearing the top end down there. See a little bit of everything here in Top Sportsman. I definitely like seeing the field out here. It was an interesting quote that I heard last night. All those 6-second shooters were sitting at the trailer enjoying their beverage or grilling out or have already had dinner while the 7-second guys were out here playing. So wide variety of ways to go fast. Majority of the cars will be the nitrous-equipped machines here in Top Sportsman. Handful with the Pro Chargers, couple blown cars, even a turbo car. So you got a little bit of everything to work with. but it's got to be consistent, and it needs to go down the track every time. So just because you're the quickest doesn't mean it's always going to turn you into the winner of the event. So we'll see what happens here. Daniel Shy. Roy Haynes going to kick things off here. So in Q2 here, just getting myself up to speed. Been back there taking a lot of notes. Those of you in the North Central Division that are watching, yes, I'm taking a lot of notes. Like we're already on the second computer of notes, if that tells you what I'm doing back there. So Daniel going to use the 96 Beretta with a 632 big block. Of course, a little bit of nitrous on board. Pretty much the same configuration, only a little bit newer over there for Roy. 2012 Cobalt out of Midland, Texas. 694 cubic inches. This is where you're going to see the big stump holders. I don't know what the biggest cubic inch we've seen thus far would be, but I guarantee you 694 is in the top half of the numbers. Haynes making it a little move at the 330, still keeping his foot in the loud pedal. 748 with a 4, 146 taking the seating ground, as they would say. 782.6, 176 for Daniel alongside. Brings up Michael Chitty, 2004 Chevrolet Cavalier, 632. Got him backed up here in the O'Reilly lane. Dusty Meyer alongside out of Lenexa, Kansas, 2010 S10. 818 cubic. There you go. I told you you're going to see the big cubic inch stump puller motors. So they use like the Folger cans for the pistons, stuff of that nature. 818 cubic inches. I don't know if it's seen the purge of the nitrous down there. It could be naturally aspirated with no giggle juice. Right as I say that, you'll probably see a purge. Mike will get it staged up here in the O'Reilly lane. Dusty over there in the Aeromotive lane. Final session of qualifying here in Top Sportsman. Good, clean, solid passes for both drivers. See a 689 with a 7 in the O'Reilly lane. Michael Jennings, 203. About a 702 with an 8. 194 for Dusty Meyer in the Aeromotive lane. So good solid runs here to get them racked up for round number 1. Motorcycles should be fighting your way to the lanes at this time. Motorcycles, Sportsman motorcycles. Need you to the lanes, please. Christopher Minks out of Crystal, Minnesota. 94 Camaro with a 738. Man, they made motors that big back when I tried to race. I might have been successful. Probably not, though. Philip Nelson alongside of McAllen, Texas. 2004 Pontiac Grand Am. 985 cubic inches over there in the Aeromotive lane. Neither driver messing around. Drop the tree, turn loose. I'm definitely on the ridge side. Definitely not the lean is mean category. 755 with an 8, 180 for Christopher. Aeromotive lane, Philip Nelson. 707 Hello. It's one of those burnouts that gets your attention. It's just going along, and all of a sudden it kicks on you and lets you know, hey, I'm still here. Steering wheel is there for a reason. Apply brake pedal and relax. Terry Pope will be in the O'Reilly lane. The 02 Cavalier with a 622. Jim White alongside out of Hayesville, Kansas. 2009 Cobalt, 865 cubic inches for real. I just made the 950 something up earlier. It's kind of like when you're announcing no time. You tell them they run a 1455. You might need a helmet if he hits the 13s. So Jim in the Aeromotive lane, Terry in the O'Reilly lane. Once again, if you didn't hear the call, Sportsman motorcycles. If you're racing on 2 wheels the entire length of the track, Should be heading to the lanes. So as Bob was saying earlier, conditions definitely changing out there. Wouldn't call it the picture-perfect conditions, but far more superior, much better, I'd say, than what we've been seeing earlier today. Good solid pass for both machines. Drop the laundry, 679. 205 for Jim White. Terry Bowden, 716 with a 5-1-93. I was fancy and handy-dandy with the button to let you know where they drop into the qualifying side, but I'll certainly give it my best effort there. So we'll work our way through. Brian Lair and J.J. Hebner coming up next. J.J. using the Ford Mustang. Genuine Ford-powered machine, 638 for motivation. Be alongside, as I mentioned, Brian Lair, Spencer, Iowa. 2006 Pontiac GTO. 672 cubic inches of nitrous-fed Chevrolet motivation. It's in the same gene pool, works for me. Now, if we said it was like a Hemi or a big block Ford in the GTO, Dare to Be Different would be fulfilled. Pretty much jockeying for position here, the Top Sportsman side of things. Where do you want to end up on the qualifying side? Who do you want to stay away from? What can I throw in this thing for a tune-up? Conditions, I think, couldn't be much better than we got now compared to what we may have seen earlier today as definitely a big swing in things. Drop the big ball and turn on some lights. Make the air much better and turn them loose. Brian and JJ staging them up. Final session of qualifying here at Top Sportsman. Once again, a good solid pair for both machines. Yeah, good solid passes. I always say that. Some line will come out. Things come to a stop. It means it was a good run. 683.7 for JJ. Brian going to go 738 with a 3. Yeah, as Warren said, half a second jump, I should say. See, I have to get the calculator out and math that thing. I was trying to figure a bump spot out for a super quick race earlier and told you 9 and it was actually 11. No wonder that checkbook of mine's never right. Kyle Firestone, 51 Chevrolet. I like this thing. I'm digging on it. 665 for cubic inch displacement out of Velma, Oklahoma. A little bit of nitrous on board to help out the cause. Be alongside Royce Freeman, Oklahoma with the Elite Motorsports team. 832 cubic inches. I wasn't keeping track, Warren. Is that the biggest one so far? For real? Me neither. It's big. It's definitely big. Nothing wrong with it. Once again, as we mentioned at the beginning of this, it was noted last night, your quick cars were all parked watching the finals. Some of the cars that get down the track in the upper 6s to mid 7s get the job done. So it's a matter of where the tune-up's at, where the setup's at, where, of course, the driver's at in this equation. Firestone making a bit of a move over towards the 60-foot block, pulls it back. Clean things up to a 677 with a 9, 198. But 693 for Royce, 201. Freeman picking up big time as the astute announcers are catching it. I'm just trying not to screw up names and numbers. I'm focusing on the simplicity of things here. Dennis Padilla out of Colorado. Pontiac Firebird in O'Reilly Lane. Didn't disclose what it is, so we're going to call it a small block with a plate and a 3/4 race cam. And probably not the case on that one. Kelly Land, Amarillo, Texas, 63 Corvette, 6784, nitrous fed, big block occupying the aeromotive lane. Oh, going back to my days of test and tune announcing. That's where it all started. Whoever let me into the local racetrack, shame on you. But I bought the ticket and they let me in. So Dennis and Kelly going to line them up here. Sun's starting to definitely drop down. Track is completely oblivious to the sunshine now. Like Kelly getting a little close and driving through down there about the 8th mile to a 694 with a 9, 197, 795 with a 9, 170 for Dennis. Brings up our runner-up from last night, Todd Stahlbomber, taking on the one, the only, Mr. Greg Lair. You know, if I was in the market to buy a Chevrolet after watching his interview on NHRA.TV last weekend out there in Colorado, I would almost think about giving him a call. Definitely one of the most entertaining interviews we've seen in a while, and definitely one of the hardcore racers. As he mentioned, no converter. He likes to shift the car. He made that known numerous times. I've not had a chance to go down and check the car out, but definitely a piece of work there. Engineering and, of course, being able to drive and turn the wind lights on, definitely no one to bow down to at all. Todd alongside, as I mentioned, was a runner-up last night. Would like to get back and avenge the old runner-up thing and be the big W, the winner. Get things qualified here, get them racked up in the do or deal. So there's your blown 531 cubic inch Camaro alongside the 903 cubic inch naturally aspirated gear jamming Camaro. Greg Lair. Lair is gone. 658 with a 9, 211, 740 with a 2, 190 for Todd. Attention in the pits. Top alcohol dragster. Top alcohol dragster to the lanes, please. Top alcohol dragster to the lanes, please. Warren Blanc out of Kansas, bringing up his 81 Camaro. Definitely like this, kind of like a retro pro stock looking machine. 632 for motivation, guaranteed a little bit of the giggle juice on board to help out. And Larry Demers, Carroll, Iowa, 2010 Chevrolet Cobalt with a 665. Nitrous equipped machine as well. Heading down track here. Once again, good clean straight passes. 720, 191 to an 815, 168 over there for Warren. Going to definitely need to wick that one up just a touch. But a good A to B pass. Definitely pointing out a lot of the numbers are identical to what we've seen in the first session. We might as well just throw some dial-ins on there and let them rip. Maybe not. They don't want to completely show their hand. That's why I'm the announcer up here, at least this round. Then I'll go back to the protege in training type person for certain situations. Mike Seacrest, Jeff Staub coming up next. Jeff out of St. George, Kansas. The Pontiac Firebird. 572 with some juice on top of that thing. Michael Seacrest, Wichita, Kansas, 2003 Grand Am, 632. Hey, once again, if you didn't hear the call, top alcohol dragster. Top alcohol dragster. Need to do the lanes, please. Motorcycles should be in the lanes at this time. If you're not, you are extremely late. Before you were late. Now you're just, yeah. It's Michael and Jeff. Gonna pull them up there to the beam, just do their deal. Starting to wind down here in the top sportsman side of things. Flicker of one bulb. Blinking of the next one. Lights come down a tree. Here we go. Seacrest laying down a 710 with a 6.192. 776 for Jeff. 179. Good solid run there. Yeah, as Bob's saying, I could be way quicker on the button. It's like there's not enough delay to take out of that thing to even make you in the ballpark, so don't even try there, partner. Wow, that's harsh, Bob, really. Eric Burnett coming up next, twin turbocharged Chevrolet Cavalier. I don't think Biondo makes enough delay on that thing. It's got a throw switch of 14 feet, and I still don't think there's enough shims on that thing. Wow. Jeff Sutherland, Andover, Illinois. The 98 Olds Cutlass. Heard it mentioned the other day, the old X-Pro stock looking machine. I don't care what generation you're from, when you see one of those, you think of the old school Pro stock. At least I do. 582 nitrous fed motor for motivation. He'll be in the O'Reilly lane. Burnett over there in the Aeromotive lane. Burnett. Get that thing in the beams, start spooling it up, popping and cracking, and put it in the beams, and well, we'll see what happens. Boost comes in. It's one heck of a ride. Burnett kind of bringing it back towards, made a move to the wall, brings it back into the groove. 723. 177, 769, 176. That'll put Eric in at the number 21 spot. Jeff, well, he's going to be in the number 29 spot. See, I was way quicker on that button. Exactly. We started talking about putting some, taking some delay out. That's what we would do, right? Take the delay out to make me quicker, put some delay in to slow me down. I'll figure this out one way or the other. Tom Patterson. Dave Staley. Yeah, this is exactly why I foot braked, because I couldn't even figure the trans brake thing out. So when the foot brake failed, they said you really just need to stop and pick the microphone up. So it was kind of a blessing in disguise when the motor went boom. That's when the announcing thing really took off. And then, well, now you got to deal with me on a regular basis. So Tom Patterson in the O'Reilly lane. Out of Manitoba, Canada. Camaro, Dave Satlin, Fort Collins, Colorado. Slatton, that is. Both of them on good clean passes. They're 663, 211, 726, 193. So definitely put Dave up in the top half of the field, the number 4 spot. Tom will be down there in the number 22 spot right now. Mark McDonald, Don O'Neill coming up next. A couple of teammates looking for data in qualifying positions. McDonald in that 67 Mustang, Ford-powered machine, 598 cubic inches. The dragstersforsale.com team. Been there, won that side of things. Don O'Neill, yes, the Don O'Neill. Evansville, Indiana. 2015 Camaro, the 427 powered. What did you say? It was a Magnuson supercharger on the front of that thing? There you go. The Patterson Elite Power Plant. Making some big strides in the tune-up on this thing. That's what happens when you put the kind of technology and hard work that Patterson's got in an X-Pro stock chassis. Boom. Start getting some runs down the track. You figure it out. See what he's got this time around. Solid pass for both machines. 661 with a 4.206 for McDonald. O'Neill 685 with a 7 and just a tick over 200. Bumps McDonald up to the number 4 spot. O'Neill will be in the top half of the field there in the number 10 position currently. We still need to take a lot of the delay out of this thing here, Bob. Wow, you got to take all of it out. Yeah, literally your finger's on the outside of the window here, and you got to walk around the building and come through the door and then pull it through. Glenn Wright, Alan Firestone. I don't think they're concerned about the announcer's amount of delay that he needs to remove, because there's not enough. There isn't. Maybe if we go all the way back to Brownsburg where the office is, I might have a chance. Alan Firestone out of Oklahoma, other half of the Firestone team, a 2016 Camaro, measly 754 cubic inches. Glenn Wright with a measly 762 in his 2012 Camaro out of Odessa, Texas. Firestone currently in the number 3 position. As Warren says, if he's wicked it up, might take that number 1 spot. Currently in the number 6 spot is Glenn Wright. Would love to bump that up another spot or 2. You can see the hint of the nitrous flames coming out over there for Firestone. 641.0, 213. Laying it down, 662 with a 4209. Firestone to the top. And I do have to pay copyright infringement to that to Alan Reinhardt. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't? Good. I wasn't going to pay it anyways. He owes me. Monty Weaver. Carmen Wright. Carmen out of Odessa, Texas. What's Cameron? Man, they're going to end up taking... I'm going to owe them enough money to where I'm going to have to hitchhike on my way home. Man. 762 cubic inch 2019 Camaro. For Cameron Wright. Oh, wait, Bob doesn't hit me with the ruler again. Monty Weaver, Lubbock, Texas, 63 Corvette. Monty looking to a little bit of retribution, as I know he was in that final against Mr. Lair back at the national event up on the Mile High in Vandermeer Speedway. Yes, I do watch my NHRA TV. Yes, I have no life, like most of us that are drag racing fanatics. And I enjoy it. And both of them kind of going for a, well, we didn't expect that passes. As Cameron gets a little out of the groove, does the wise thing, lifts off the loud pedal. Not really sure what happened with Monty over there, but it seemed like the boost was coming in off the Pro Charger, and, well, just was not happy. Definitely something not where it needs to be, as they would say. Gremlins are coming out. It is nighttime, and it is evening. Hopefully they can get that ironed out. Definitely not what either driver was looking for here in Q2 of Top Sportsman. Got to say, one of the most colorful cars on the property, Jim Thorpe. Yeah, and that's genuine paint, as Warren says. No rap for that fella. You got to convince somebody that says, you know what? I like my colors. I like it looking fast. I like it looking good. So Jim will be over here in the O'Reilly lane. Been battling some issues. Currently sitting in the number 25 spot is Thorpe. The 745 definitely, as they would say, room for improvement there, just like my announcing skills. Lance Rutland alongside, currently in number 31 position. As they would say, room for improvement on that one. There's the Spring, Texas native, 63 Corvette. A bit of giggle juice on board. Then we got a Pro Charger hanging off the front of Mr. Thorpe's machine. Let's see if we can get something ironed out. Definitely better than 745 that he's currently standing on. Thorpe's machine making a little bit of a move at the 8th mile, but still keeps his foot in it to a 692. Definitely a bunch of help there, 209 to a 780 at 174 for Rutland. Thorpe will bump into the top half of the field there. In the number 13 position. Brings up our final machine here in Top Sportsman. the man that was going some rounds last night. A lot of rounds, almost all the rounds, as they would say. J.R. Lobner. No stranger to going rounds at this facility. Oh, yeah, he did go. See, I got that part right. You leave it open-ended, so if you make a mistake, you can kind of crab out of it a little bit. I've learned that on the announcing side. Got to have a way out sometimes. So, JR, I'm thinking he falls into that been there, won that category. What do you think, Warren? Yeah? Yeah. Usually when you see that number 2 or a single digit, Captain Obvious here on the microphone will say, yep, he's a hitter. So he'll take the 96 Olds Cutlass, put it in the beams here on the O'Reilly side, turn it loose, see what the guy's going for. About a 741 with a 6. Warren was almost there. He was going 46. He got the 4 and the 6 ready. Forgot the 1, though. 181. That'll wrap up qualifying for Top Sportsman. Sportsman Motorcycle in the box. I hand it back over to Mr. Unkefer.
Thank you, William. And as we roll into Sportsman Motorcycle, round number 1, Alcohol Dragster. Should be in the lanes. Alcohol Funny Car. Needs you to follow him in. Bill Homuth and Robert Sanders going to be our first pair out. Sanders, who has won here at Heartland Motorsports Park before on a 912 dial. Going to go first. Homuth out of Illinois there on the right, the O'Reilly side of the racetrack. Trying to steal a little bit on the starting line. Sanders looks over. Runner out of Texas. Finish line stripe goes 9:39 at 108. 9:12 by Homuth. That'll move him to round number 2 at 128 miles an hour. And Sanders with some problems down there because that bike is normally dead on the money, Sonny. And now Michael Dash taking on Ricky Kay, your reigning division champ out of the Southland. Over on the right-hand side, Dash on the left, your former division champ. And number 3 in the points chase last year. Dash on his 8:08, Ricky on a 9:06. As we get ready to head them down the racetrack. Ricky Kay off and running. Here comes Michael. Suzuki's a pair. Winding them up top end. Going to go to Ricky Kay, 9:06. Dead on the dial with the 6. 8:12 by Michael. At 159 miles an hour, Dash had the better light. Ricky Kay trips the wind light. And of the 2 lights, that wind light, that's the one that's most important. As we come rolling in. Super Stock, stand by for an important announcement. Super Stock, stand by if you would, please, for an important announcement. Leonard Fox and Cameron Belisle. Cameron over here on the right-hand side, the Minnesota based Kawasaki, going to go first with a 9:16. Leonard Fox out of Aurora, Colorado. There in the automotive side on an 8:93. Red light start by Cameron. Really red. Leonard Fox going to get the win and move automatically into round number 2. Leonard's got problems. He's going to cruise on down. And a 14:36 wasn't the run he came up expecting to win with. But after Cameron lit the red light, Leonard says, I'll take it. He's on down the road. Phil Yates and Matt Solano. Solano out of Aurora, Colorado, the publication designer. Aboard his 78 Kawasaki, 10:17 to dial. Yates on a 9:04, going to give him a little bit over a second handicap start. And the pair of Kawasaki's that are going to head for the other end of the racetrack. Yates off a 9:04 dial. Sits, waits for his side of the tree to come down. Oh, working his way down the groove. Catches up to Solano there about the 1,000-foot mark. Goes by for a 9:035 breakout by 5 thousandths of a second. Took 19 stripe, broke out by 5. Solano gets the win, running dead zero on his 1017 dial at 127 miles an hour. Alex Larson taking on Brenda Kay. Brenda's already seen Ricky get the win. Here comes Brenda. Riley side runner coming up from Texas. Larson out of South Dakota trying to hold off Brenda. Gets it done. 13:39 on a 13:24. Brenda goes 9:04 on a 9:10 dial. Got down there, took a chunk of finish line stripe as she went slinging by Alex. Unfortunately, a little bit too quick. Down at the other end of the racetrack for Miss Brenda. There's Pat Roetto and Byron Kissel. A couple Division 5 stalwarts. Roetto over on the left-hand side aboard his machine out of Wichita. Kissel coming down from the high country of Colorado. Handicap start, going to go to Byron. 9:53 and a red light start. Going to go to Byron. Wind light, green light, Pat Roetto. Over on the aeromotive side of the racetrack. Patrick 884 at 150 and into round number 2. Byron a 965, but the 12 thousandths of a second red light. Back here on this end of the racetrack, kind of negated everything else. Leonard Sykes out of Denver, Colorado. 907 on the dial, right side. Mike Voss, underdog, is here. The Mike Voss Enterprises machine. Working his way down track. Voss, the Minnesota runner. 949.9 on a 951, wins the double breakout. Sykes goes 905.6 on his 907 dial. 3 thousandths of a second difference between them down at the other end of the racetrack. Felicia Olsen taking on John Fitzpatrick. Felicia over on the left-hand side, the aeromotive lane. 944, going to get a second, a little over a second handicap start. Felicia would love to have back the run she had yesterday. 5 thousandths package. Double O on the tree, taking a stripe, getting a win. She's got a tough one. The rating Division 5 champ over here on the O'Reilly side of the racetrack on an 840 dial. Fitzpatrick's going to wait a couple of extra bulbs on the tree. Then be off and chasing Miss Felicia. And a red light start by John. Pushed it too hard by 3 thousandths of a second. And Felicia Olsen gets the win, 958 at 131 miles an hour. She moves on to round number 2. Now the question is, will her hubby? We'll find out in a bit when he comes up. Tony Davis taking on Bruce Sampson now. Tony out of Houston on the right-hand side. And Bruce Sampson on the left. Alcohol dragster, alcohol funny car. You should be in the lane. Semifinals paired up, ready to go. Oh, this will be interesting. Dead even out of the gate. Wind light's going to go to Sampson. 33-1 on a 33. 51-5 by Tony Davis on a 52. Takes the stripe by 5 thou. Breaks out by 5 thou. Down at the other end of the racetrack as the call goes out, top dragster to the lanes, please. Round number 1. Top dragster needs you to the lanes, please. Round number 1. Come on down, boys and girls. Top dragster to the lanes. Dave Olson, left side. Gordon Fangmeyer. Over here on the right. 864 for Gordon. 892 for Dave. Dave's already seen his bride, Felicia, move on. Hanging on to the groove, trying to hold off Fangmeyer. And gets it done. Fangmeyer takes the stripe, but breaks out by 9. 863 on his 864. 898 by Dave. As he goes to the final round last night, comes up a little bit short against Mike Nash. But he picks up another round win here. And heads into round number 2. We'll see him back tomorrow. Wyatt Neeson's Suzuki right side. Dwayne Towson. Towson out of Lake Charles there on the left-hand side. Is Kawasaki. Painted up Kawasaki green. Handicap start, Wyatt. Here comes Dwayne. closing in from behind and a 001 light and breaks out. 889 on the 895. 964 on the 969 by Neeson. Both drivers under their dial by 2 thousandths of a second. Wyatt is closer. And by 2 thousandths of a second, Wyatt Neeson comes back for round number 2. Manana. Donnie Dernberger taking on Derek Dory as we work our way through the first round of eliminations here in our sportsman motorcycle category. Dory on the right, 908. Going to give Donnie Dernberger's machine a 2nd and 4/10 handicap start. 10:48 the dial for Donnie. And Double D gets the win. Derek Dory. Red lights away his shot to fame and glory. And Double D, Donnie Dernberger, gets the win, running 10:59 at 118. They're on the Aeromotive side of the racetrack. 909 by Derek after the red lights start. His day is done. His race weekend completed. We'll see him next week down in Tulsa. Michael Shelton comes rolling up, your number 1 qualifier out of Great Bend, Kansas, aboard his Suzuki. Top Dragster, round 1. Need you lanes, please. Our Fine Line Graphics, Madcap Racing, Top Dragsters, round number 1. Needs you to the staging lanes, please. Shelton completes round number 1 with a 9:59 lap at 136. I told our super stock racers to stand by. I had an important announcement. Here's the announcement. Super stock, you're done for the day. Put them in the box, fire up the Barbie, fix yourself a cold one, whatever the case might be. Super stock, pushing the later portion of the evening. Super stock, we will run your first round of eliminations tomorrow. Super stock, you are done for the day. Our scheduled run now, Alcohol Dragster and Funny Car semifinals. They're getting ready to come up next. Top Dragster round number 1, followed by our Circus Motorsports Top Sportsman round number 1, and then into the finals of Top Alcohol Funny Car, Top Alcohol Dragster. It'll put a wrap on day number 3 here at Heartland Motorsports Park. The Dragsters, the Funny Cars, the alcohol getting ready to pop and cackle underneath the tower, and down the racetrack is our final 4 contestants in Dragster and Funny Car getting ready to come out at us. Also, a correction to note. Stated earlier, Brad Plord, our winner last night. No, Frank Aragona was our comp champ last night. Brad Plord went back-to-back with number 1 qualifiers. And Brad did go to the finals last night, but came up just a little bit short against Frank in that final round. I also understand that Frank did some contabulating, figured out that the race number 2 was not going to give him the points that he might be looking for should he be able to work his way through and claim a second win. And as you're chasing points for the championship once again, and Frank, of course, is the reigning comp eliminator champ, Frank elected to set out race number 2. Hence, last night's winner not coming back for the second race of the weekend. My apology to Frank for mistaking him, naming his Brad Plord as our winner last evening. Brad, your number 1 qualifier for 2 races in a row, though, and made it to the finals last night. We'll be watching him to see what he does tomorrow through our comp eliminator field. We know one thing. He won't be running Frank in the finals. Once again, Super Stock, you are done for the evening. Super Stock, you are done for the evening. Go ahead and put them away, boys and girls. Super Stock. Your first round of eliminations will be tomorrow. I have not yet seen a revised schedule for tomorrow. As soon as I do, we'll be able to share that with you, both via the PA system here at Heartland Motorsports Park. Oh, 1 minute, they tell me. It's going to be hot off the press. Well, hot off the press and into my hands, I have the Sunday schedule. Super Street, you will lead us off round number 2. Super Gas, round number 1 will follow tomorrow morning, and we will start at 8 a.m. with our Super Street contingent. Super Gas, round number 1 will follow Super Street, second round of eliminations. Stock Eliminator, round number 2. Round number 2 of Super Comp. Super Stock, you will follow Super Comp with your opening round of eliminations. And then into Super Gas, round number 2. Get you guys back up to the pack. And Sportsman Motorcycle, second round to follow that. Then our Fine Line and Madcap, top dragster category. Cop Eliminator, opening round of eliminations. Our Circus Motorsports, top sportsman cars will take to the track for their second round of elims. Then into Super Street, Stock, Super Comp, Super Stock, top dragster, Cop Eliminator, top sportsman. You get the idea. We will work our way through toward crowning our champions tomorrow afternoon. But we will start at 8 a.m. Super Street round number 2, you will be out first. Super Gas for first round of eliminations, you will follow. Stock round 2, Super Comp round 2, Super Stock round number 1, and then right back into Super Gas for round number 2 of eliminations. Our alcohol dragsters making their way out from underneath the tower as we get ready to go with our final 4. And this should and will be interesting. Final check of the tires. Crew's final inspection of the cars. And I do believe we're about to fire the first of our semifinal contestants. The injected nitro car, Megan Meyer, coming to life. They'll build a little heat in the power plant, or as they fire it up on alcohol, switch it over to the cackle of nitromethane. Pull the starter fuel tank off. Christine Chambliss machine. Out of Scott City. The blown lone car. Left in eliminations. And I gotta tell you, for me, this is a pick'em race. Christine has established career numbers a couple of times this year. Did it out on Thunder Mountain where she was #1 qualifier at our opening Lucas Oil Drag Racing Series event for 2018 here in the central, or 2019 I should say, here in the central region. She came in here this weekend, a pair of 5:30 runs. 5:51 in the opening round to get around Dean Dubbin. Megan comes in off a 5:47. Now the air is definitely changing. I will give you that. It has dropped considerably from what it was earlier today when they ran their first session. In fact, it tells me we're now down about 500 feet corrected altitude from where we were earlier. That'll help them both. Megan, lane choice. Megan, #1 for Menards in GK. Dots Pretzels, Meyer Trucking. The RPMs will come up on Christine Chambliss. She'll leave at about 5,000, 6,000 RPM. Megan Meyer will leave from an island. Christine rolls in. Megan rolls in. Off and running, and a 5:27. And Chambliss down at the other end of the racetrack, you can see the big puff of smoke. And understand that she got into the wall down there behind that puff of smoke. And the car tumbled down the racetrack there on the Aeromotive side of the race. It was a 5:44 lap at 250 miles an hour. But right at the finish line stripe, the big puff of smoke, and Christine Chambliss machine goes down through the shutdown area.